I'm playing again. You're out of control today, Luke. Welcome back, guys, to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. Today, we're talking about what we should be offering property owners in 2025. We're going to be breaking it all down. You guys have come in early to the show, hot and piping with some questions. So I might as well just get to it because I think it encourages good behaviors of asking questions during the show. That's why we're doing it live. This is not pre-recorded, obviously. So let's get to some of these questions. Tim's jumping in quick with them, and he says he's got a couple questions about cold callers. Number one question is, how much data per caller? Luke, will you put me on the board? Here we go. So if you're using a triple line dialer, okay, which most people do, you can call between 100 addresses and 150 addresses an hour. Okay, let's just say that they're having really good conversations. Let's say it's 100 addresses per. Let's say it's about they're having really good conversations. Let me get rid of this. 50 addresses an hour. Okay? And they're going to do 40 hours for you a week. So what is that? That's 2,000 addresses in 40 hours per week. Okay? And you only want to go through the list twice, Tim, twice. So that means that you can get 4,000 calls out of this in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and then you need more. So what does that mean? You need 8,000 addresses per caller per month. Okay, that's usually about the numbers. Now, some people say 10,000, and that's just because they either increase the amount of lines that are dialing at a time, or the callers just they're getting a lot of early rejections, right? They're really not peeling back the layers, asking the next question to try to keep the conversation going. They're just, no, I'm not interested, click, right? There's certain areas of the country that are already kind of pre-programmed. They've got this reflex no, right? Like you hit your knee and that reflex pops out. When they hear a stranger on the phone ask about property, they instantly shut them down. So you could get upwards to 10,000 addresses called every single month twice. Okay, so make sure that you're loading that up, all right? Because they can go through, actually, you know what? That's all wrong. 4,000 is the number. 4,000 is the number because you're going through this twice, and it's your original 2,000. So you're timesing that by 2. So totally ignore that. 4,000 addresses to whatever, 10,000 addresses a month typically. All right? There we go. Do you recommend deep diving into one city with stack list or statewide in a state for cold calling? It just depends on your capacity. You know, obviously, if you've got a lot of people making calls for you, Tim, you're going to have to go really, really, really wide. You know, I always like going with the most likely people to sell to us, wholesalers, right? So these are people that the properties are in rough shape, and that's just a fraction of the market. Some people call throughout the whole area, every single house. I think that's a mistake. I think you go for the most motivated first and then expand out your criteria. And then once you've gone really, really laser focused in a specific area and you've opened up the filters in those areas, then you can expand the actual market size. What do I mean by filters? What I mean is I want 2,000 square feet or smaller. I want these houses built before 1995. I want them 30 years. I want them owned for at least 7 years. I'd love for them to show some form of motivation, right? They're absentee owners, they're pre-foreclosures, they're probate, they're inherited, they're tax default, all of those different lists, those buckets there that you can go after, put those all into your list, call those first, and then you can go into the owner-occupied properties that have that same criteria, but they don't necessarily have any form of motivation, or at least showing any signs of motivation. So start with motivation first and then expand, and then you can go into other areas, because it's really important to understand the values in the areas that you're going after, in my opinion. All right. What's a good call to connect ratio? 7 to 10%. Let's answer that. How many appointments should you expect from your callers, and what is considered an appointment for your VA callers? Yeah, that's all over the board. It's all over the board depending on the skills of your callers. It depends on what you are setting up as the criteria for appointments, and what you consider a lead. Now, to us in our business, Tim, a lead is somebody that's going to sign a purchase agreement in the next 7 to 10 days. They're going to sell. They've already made their decision. They're going to sell their property. That's a hot lead. Now, warm leads are usually 30 days. They need about 30 days to make a decision, and cold leads, they need 90 days or more to make a decision. But we want to go on the appointments of the people that have made the decision they're going to sell their property. Okay, this is critical. Just because somebody's having a good conversation with you does not mean that they are a solid lead. Does that make sense, everybody? Awesome. Good. Ralph, Brent, how do I handle repeat buyers who are closers, but funding deals past agreed settlement date? Oh, Ralph, this is my first 2 years in this business, was working with these cash buyers, or for the most part, Ralph, I found that there were other wholesalers that were taking my deals, putting it out there to their buyers, saying that they were going to close either way, putting in their own earnest deposit, but they would end up selling it. And that's what took longer than expected. You need to start pulling it back. You need to be, Ralph, you need to start getting the respect back. If we can't close on the date on the purchase agreement, the seller's going to be pissed. If I have to deal with pissed off sellers, that means that I can't put my attention and focus on the next deal that I can bring you, Mr. Investor, Mr. Other Wholesaler. So you're actually clogging up my process by not closing on time. Does that make sense? And then they go, yes. Okay, great. These are buyers and in communication with their lenders. Yeah. Listen, their lenders should have all their ducks in a row. These buyers should have all these ducks in a row. If you sent me a deal, Ralph, and we were closing and you wanted to close you wanted to close tomorrow, I could make it happen with my lenders, with my hard money lenders. Like this whole, they have to jump through all these hoops type of thing is ridiculous. If you're selling your deals to cash buyers that the hard money lender needs an appraisal, the hard money lender has all these weird pre-qualifiers, the hard money lender needs an inspection, all of these other things, then you need to hook them up with better hard money lenders that are ready to fund right now because they understand the area. And Ralph, what I usually find is with these buyers, they're using somebody that is nationwide. They're not using local hard money lenders, because the local guys know the market backwards and forwards. They know it better than you. They know it better than me. They know it better than anybody, because this is their whole business, is to understand and evaluate risk when they're putting money into a property. And the local hard money, private money lenders are the absolute best. There's not all these hoops you have to jump through. It doesn't take weeks. It takes hours. Okay? These are the guys that can fund in a foreclosure auction within 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. These are people that can close the next day, the day after. That's who you really want to be working with. So if these buyers that are really good and they're committed to buying your deals are taking too long, they're screwing around with their lending, you need to either say, hey, listen, I can't sell you these deals if you can't close on time. Or can I introduce you to a lender that can close faster and has great terms, right? So you got to play that game a little bit, Ralph. You got to get into that game a little bit, right? Because nothing makes a seller more pissed off than waiting for money. You know what I mean? That you're like, yep, nope, we're closing on the 13th. And then all of a sudden, 13th comes, no money. 14th comes, they get nervous. 15th comes, they think you're a scam, right? That's right. They use national because it's cheaper. Exactly. But Ralph, I love that you, let me get this in the live. That's exact. I knew it. I'm like a mentalist. Luke, I've been watching O's The Mentalist. I'm like a mentalist right now, right? I just know these things. I'm just kidding. This is just experience because trust me, we've been there, Ralph. When they go with these, when we look at who's lending on these properties and it's something nationwide, we start telling the seller, hey, listen, it might get wiggly towards the end. We've got the funding, it's coming in, but this is a bigger bank and they take longer to process it. Everything's smooth on our end. It's just going to take a little bit longer for them to get the money in. So I just want you to know we're set to close the 13th, but if you'll give me a window to like the 18th, just in case, that I just want to set upfront expectations, right? Boom. So, yeah, as long as you know what you're up against, you know what you can, how to have that conversation with the property owner. All right. Great question here. I'm not sure what the name is, but we'll rock and roll here. Brent, have you heard federal DNC DNC law is no longer in effect? I was going to pull it up, and I should pull it up here. Yeah, it's an interesting case here that happened in Arizona with fast cash offer. They actually fought. They fought the plaintiff, and it got down to the judge, and the judge says, hey, listen, it's too vague. There's not clear evidence what the I think it's Congress has put in the federal do not call list as solicitation. And because you're offering to buy it and you're not getting money out of the property owner for this deal, it's not considered solicitation. So watch the explosion of people either going back to cold calling or this might even affect texting, guys. I have next week, and I'm really hoping to get him on, Eric Allen, my TCPA attorney. He's preparing for a court case that he's got this week, so he couldn't come on today. I tried to get him on this show right now, but next week I should have him on, and he'll really break it down. There's always risk. There's always risk, and people can sue you for anything. The more that you put yourself out there, the more proactive, the more that you interrupt people's day, the more that they're getting interrupted by more companies, the more they're going to get mad. And when some people get mad, they litigate. And when they litigate, you can pay for an attorney to protect you. According to this case, you're in the right, but I'm not an attorney. Let's wait till we talk to an attorney and see what our risk exposure is. But to just blanket it that federal DNC law is now no longer in effect, let's put a pin. Let's pause. Let's hit the pause on the remote a little bit and just let's make sure that we understand that there is still risk. There's still risk involved. Realtors can't call and try to get listings because that's a service that they're getting paid by the seller to be able to perform that. So that is considered solicitation. That is in that same case. But when you're calling to buy the property, according to this case that just got done last Friday in Arizona, not solicitation. And should be interesting. Should be very interesting moving forward. Should be interesting with all the current cases that are getting argued right now. There's a lot of TCPA cases right now. It's been a big thing, right? Over the last year and a half. We're going to see if those melt away and they start going after an easier target when it comes to TCPA and DNC. Because they were kind of lumping us in with realtors, guys. They're lumping us in with realtors because they go, oh, they're just trying to use that. Hey, I want to buy your house as kind of a back door into, oh, wait, let me list it instead, right? Don't do that. Don't even, if you have a license, don't do the reverse card, the Uno reverse card and go, hey, listen, I want to buy your house, and then go back and go, oh, actually, I could list it as well, right? That's where it gets really tricky and really murky. But again, guys, I'm not an attorney. We'll bring an attorney on. Hopefully Eric can get this, and I can pressure him into jumping on and spending 15 minutes, 30 minutes with us, and that'll be really, really, really great. Okay. Harwin wants to hire a transaction coordinator. How do I find one? How do I go about the pay structure? And what are the main tasks that you have your TC doing? I kind of want to use mine as a plug and play role of wherever I need her. Yes. Perfect, Harwin. If you're going to do that, you need to pay a salary. Don't do it hourly. I would say do a salary. I would probably set that salary, if it was me, at $3,000 a month with a lot of upside, with a lot of bonuses, maybe a bonus per closed deal, maybe a bonus per project that you want them to do that's outside of just transaction coordination. I would start at $3,000 base salary, bring them on, get really good. Now, could you find somebody that is in a different country, like a VA, that is trained up in transaction coordination that could be less expensive? Sure. I think that that's an option too, Harwin. I think you could probably cut that in half to probably $1,500 a month. If you find somebody that has a lot of experience, I would probably look at Upwork.com. But I'm just weird. Like, I like, when it comes to the transaction coordination, I want that transaction coordinator to take everything off of my acquisitions plate, which means they're communicating with the seller and the buyer all day long. So they have to be really good on the phone. They have to be really comfortable speaking with people about the process, and they have to get respect, right? If people, for some reason in this business, if they know that it's a VA and they're just not, they just don't have the right critical thinking skills for the position, they're going to totally stampede over them. And that's going to be a problem, because you need people to respect, again, your company and the people in your company. And so I like paying more for higher talent. I think with Aaron, who's just done a phenomenal job in transaction coordination, she's upwards, she's $50K plus. With bonuses and upside and all sorts of things, just to take all of that off of my acquisitions team. And that's made a huge difference. Okay. So 2 ways there, Harwin. I'm going to give you both routes, and you could test both. You could go VA, Upwork, Fiverr, find somebody that has experience, that they just kind of take off. They just kind of do the paperwork. They know the process, but they're not really communicating a lot with the property owner or your cash buyer. Or pay a little bit more, take all of that off of your acquisition side, all of that off of your disposition side, and keep rocking and rolling with really great talent that you establish in town, that you can meet with, that you can connect with, that you can get eye to eye, face to face with on a weekly basis. Cool. Great question so far. We're rocking. We haven't even gotten into some of the coaching that I want to do here, but I will pop up this for just a second, just so that we can get the minds churning here. Guys, this is the equation in 2025. Okay. If you have and there's really 3 different routes to take here. Okay. And it all depends on the inventory, the current inventory in your marketplace. How many properties are available on the market versus how many are selling every month, right? So that is actives over the pendings. How many months is that? So, for example, if you've got 4,000 properties available on the market and only 500 are selling a month, that means you have 8 months of inventory. Okay. If you have 4,000 homes on the market and 3,000 are selling every single month, you have just over 1 month of inventory. That's a totally different equation, guys. This is critical that you understand this. Inventory dictates everything when we're making the calculations of what to offer property owners in 2025. Okay? If there is more than 3 months of inventory, when you look at this and you go to realtor.com and you look in your area and you type in Coconut Creek, Florida, and you see that there is 1,200 actives and there's 400 pending, that's a 3-month inventory. You're going to be over here at the 70% minus repairs. That equals what you can sell that property for. And then you subtract what you want to make, and that gives you your max allowable offer. Okay? So you take, what can you sell it for? What is the value of this property? times 70% minus the repairs, minus what you want to make is what you can offer that property owner. Now, if there's less than 3 months of inventory, you can go 80% minus repairs. And if there's less than 2 months of inventory, which is almost nowhere right now in June 2025, I am telling you, it's 90% minus repairs. And you see some of this. You see some of this in Seattle, Austin, Miami, San Diego, San Francisco, Paradise Valley, some areas of Scottsdale here. Just really, really, really popular. Pretty much all of Southern California that's by the water. Anywhere that's really, really, really popular that has less than 2 months of inventory and people are dying to live there. Certain parts of Hawaii, certain parts of Minneapolis, certain parts of Long Island, right? You know, if there's less than 2 months of inventory, if you get one thing from listening to this live show or watching it, inventory dictates everything. Everything. And right now in this boring ass market that we're in right now, where everything's flat, there's only going to be 4 million plus sales this year, right? Instead of 6 million, 7 million like 2021, you got to be aggressive with your offers because your buyers are going to be aggressive with you. That's the absolute fact. But there's more equity in the market than there ever has been before. We're in a beautiful position. Not only is there more equity than before, but there's less people doing what we do every single day right now. They've all left. They've all gone into selling solar or selling something easier than learning these skills in this business right now. So if you are here and if you are just getting started, it's just coming onto your radar, welcome. You hit the sweet spot. You hit the sweet spot, right? But you got to take massive, imperfect action every single day. Okay? Guys, listen, all of that is great. I think you guys all understand that equation. 70% minus the repairs equals what the cash buyer will pay you. The next question that you have in your mind is, well, how do I calculate the repairs? Well, here you go. Take a screenshot of this, baby. This has been updated. I updated this in 2023. We were actually going to update it again, Luke, and I looked at the numbers and I go, no, based on what I'm seeing out there right now, we're right about the costs of things in 2023. The inflation didn't go down. The prices didn't go down. It's kind of the same price. We kind of peaked in 2023, kind of went up a little bit in 2024, but right now, here it is. And there's 3 main categories of repair budgets. There's the easy repairs. This is carpet, paint, maybe some appliances. There's needs work. This is where you're doing some flooring. You're changing up some countertops. And then there's, wow, this is bad. These are the properties that are destroyed. They need more love. There's going to be more bigger ticket items. You're ripping out all the cabinets. You're ripping out all the bathrooms. You're changing up some things in the floor plan a little bit. Maybe you're opening up the floor plan. Whatever it is, you're modernizing this property. Okay. And that's where these different repair budgets come into play here. And it's all based on the size of the property. Okay. The size of the property. So for an easy repair under 1,500 square feet, it's $20,000 is where you want to put in your numbers. If it needs work, $35,000, and wow, this is bad, $50,000. Now, there's an asterisk. Any major repair item, add $10,000. Okay, it needs all new electrical, $10,000. It needs a new roof, $10,000. Needs a new boiler, $10,000. Needs a new air conditioner, $10,000. It needs a new pool equipment or pool surfacing, $10,000. Right? It needs all new windows, $10,000. So you got to add all of that. And I would also, if you're in those beautiful, fun, high economic, high popularity areas where the median sale price is above $500,000, add 20% on top. Add 20% to these numbers if the median sale price is over $500,000. Okay? There you go. So that now you get the fix and flip. calculator. Now you know how to put in the, okay, 70% minus repairs. Here's what Brent said. This one needs a lot of work, but it's 1,100 square feet. I'm going to put 35,000, needs a new roof, 45,000 for repairs. Okay. It's worth 250 fixed up, 70% of that minus 45,000. And I want to make 15,000. Boom. This is the most that I can offer this property owner. Put in your questions, guys. But we don't have to overcomplicate this. You do not have to be the master at bidding out properties. You don't have to be the master at being an appraiser on these properties. You find some really good comparables. Let's go to that real quick. You go to the you find some really good comparables in the neighborhood, and that's where you establish the top number. And I would argue that the top number, the fixed up value, is where the real expertise is, guys. The real expertise is, do you actually know? Can you give a very smart, educated guess, because that's all it is, on what the fixed up value actually is? Right? That is the absolute, like when you're looking at these deals, this is a skill that you have to establish. You have to be tracking the area. You got to look in the area. You got to start in the neighborhood first. What has sold in the neighborhood? What's the top sale in the neighborhood? Where is it similar to my property? Right? You look neighborhood first, nothing in the neighborhood, half mile, go half mile out. Okay, that doesn't work. 1 mile out. Great. Timeline. Right now in this market, 3 months. 3 months. Brent, I'm in the middle of nowhere that I need to comp this thing. There's no sales in the last 3 months. Great. Time travel to 6 months. Then time travel a year if you're really rural. But for the most part, you should be targeting high population areas, and there will be sales in those areas. Okay? Next is plus or minus 15 years. This house was built in 1975. You're not going to comp that property with something built in 2002. Totally different construction, totally different floor plans, probably totally different lot sizes and formations and neighborhoods, right? So plus or minus 15 years, plus or minus 15% of the size. This property is 1,000 square feet. Great. You should be looking at 1,150 to 850, in 850 to 1,150. What are the comparables in the neighborhood that are this same size? The fifth step is the floor plan. You cannot comp a 2-story, a 3-story with a 1-story. Okay? You can't comp a single family with multifamily. You can't comp a single family with a townhouse, condo, or land. Totally different. By the way, guys, this is appraisals. This is professional appraisal criteria right in here. This is what they're going to look at. Why does this matter? Why does this matter to understand how appraisers think? Because let's take this all the way through. You find an ugly house that needs work. You sell it to a cash buyer. That cash buyer, their only income that they get from this property is fixing it up and then selling it on the market. Most of the properties that sell, 80 to 85% in the current market, are selling with conventional financing. Banks love lending money. That's their whole job. They're geniuses. It's the best business ever. They're not building houses. They're not swinging hammers. They're not designing things. They're just lending money and making money off of that, baby. Their money's making baby monies, right? But they want to make sure that the risk is mitigated. They want to make sure that this property is really worth what this property is worth. So who do they hire, guys? They hire professional licensed appraisers. And professional licensed appraisers look at what have other things sold in the area. That's what they look at to determine the risk of lending the money on this property. So it's critical that we get really good at understanding the 7 steps to comping. Also, what is the condition? How much will it take to rehab and renovate this? And once it is fixed up, what will it sell for? What is the potential? Right? It's all right there. It's all right there. And guys, easy way to do this. by the way, let me share this screen. I went out. Everybody goes, oh, let's comp 123 Main Street or whatever. And I always say 1212 Banana Street. So I found 1212 River Drive, which I think I did this a few years ago, maybe not, but 1212 Banana Drive here. But look at this. This is Redfin. I literally just typed in 1212 Banana into Google. This pops up on Redfin. But you see this little map right here? See my little cursor that's circling this map? You can literally click this map right here, Redfin. This is absolutely free 99, baby. And then you go down to this bottom left and it says nearby homes for sale. Wait a tick. They're going to show me the properties that are for sale here. Great. So I click on this. I don't know why there's a delay. Oh, it opened up a different tab. Sorry. There you go. So it opens up this tab right here. And then I go to the top left. It says for sale. I go, no. I don't want to know for sale. I want to know what's selling right now, baby. I want to know what's under contract right now. Boom. So the property here on Banana River is like right around here. These are in the same neighborhood. These are under contract. These are 1,800 square feet. And 4 beds, 2 baths. I can go in and really deep dive these properties right here and see, are these really similar properties? Are these really similar properties? My property was built in 1964. So was this. Fantastic. This one's 1,800 square feet. The property that I had was 1924 square feet. Guys, this one is under contract. This is selling right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get in here. Let me share this tab. Forget that this keeps opening up tabs. And I'm here and I'm looking at this property. I go, wow, this is a pretty nice property. Look at this. But it's only got 3 photos. So now I got to go into the description and I got to find out what's going on with this property. Recently updated 4.2 CBS pool home with 2-car garage. Woo! Now I've got a comparable in the neighborhood to run my numbers off of for free. Now, guys, you can go into Deal Machine, run comps. You can go into PropWire, run comps. You can go into PropStream, run comps. You can go to Batch Leads, run comps. You can get on your MLS and run comps. You could do it $0 here. $0 right there on Redfin. Does that make sense, everybody? Did I do that all right, Luke? Does that make sense to you? Could you do that, Luke, with no real estate experience? Yeah. Yes. We need to put you on a mic, bro. Yeah. Banana Drive is bananas. I agree with you. But guys, all right there. Now, let me give you a quick and dirty real quick before I get into all of these incredible questions. This is what I do every time. This is literally what I do every time that I'm looking at a property. Initial call. Right? When I was calling, I called 7 straight years, calling, talking to property owners from 9 to noon. Boom. And I would pull up their property as I'm talking to them, because in the dialer in Mojo, you can just click a button. It goes right to right to Zillow, and it shows you the Zestimate. So I go to the Zestimate and I go, okay, well, I know based on what I'm selling, usually the properties that I sell that are above 250,000 are selling for about 50% if they're in rough shape. If they're in really rough shape, if they need significant rehab, they need everything. It's going to be a big project. They're going to be at 50%. If it's below 250 to 100,000, it's going to be 35% is usually what that is going to. I usually have to lock it up at that price. And then 100,000, it's at 10% or lower. So I'm looking at this. I'm making a call. I'm hitting a button. It goes to Zillow. It says it's worth 400,000. I'm talking to the property owner, and they hit me with the question that we always get. Well, how much are you going to give me? How much do you think that you can offer? Right? And now that question happens a lot more when you're being proactive, when you're calling out, when you're doing outbound lead generation as opposed to inbound lead generation, which is more PPC and direct mail and all that. When they reach out to you, they've got a number in mind typically, and they're kind of throwing it out. It's a lot easier, but you pay for that ease. It's a lot easier to pre-qualify when they're reaching out to you. I mean, it's night and day. but I didn't have a budget. I had to climb out of nowhere. I had all these judgments on me. My credit was horrible. I had no money in the account. I had to go out and like hustle up these deals, right? But I remember calling and I would be like, and at the time, the numbers were a little bit different. But when they come in and I'm talking to them and they're saying, yeah, I would consider an offer. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Well, how much were you thinking? What were you thinking you wanted for the property? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Yeah, no problem. So can you tell me a little bit about the property? Have you done any remodeling to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? No. It needs everything. There's a total project house. It's in rough shape. Okay, great. Okay, well, just to let you know, we buy properties cash. We buy them completely as is. So you don't have to put another cent into the property. There's no real estate commissions. We pay all the title and closing costs. So whatever I offer you is a net offer to you. There's not going to be a bunch of fees taken out besides what you owe in the property and maybe some property taxes you haven't paid. But that's totally different. The net offer I'm going to give you. So for an offer like that, how much were you thinking? I just don't know, Brent. I just don't know. Okay, great. Well, I'm looking around and I'm looking at some properties in the area, neighbors in your area, in similar condition, that are similar size. And it looks like they've been selling these properties completely as is, an offer like I'm talking about, for around $125,000. Is that kind of in the ballpark? How does that feel? Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. Or, oh, I would never sell for that. I need at least 300,000. Or, it sounds somewhere, it sounds pretty reasonable. I don't know. This is only if they won't give you the price, right? But you're throwing something out. Now, did I make the offer? Did I say I will give you 125,000? No, I said homes in your area that are in similar condition are selling for around this price. Do you think, and please put it in the chat, put a yes, put a fire, put a rhino, put a yes, anything that you want to do you think that if you hired cold callers that asked this question this way and built the skill that they said, I threw out 125 and this is their reaction to the way that I threw that out, that you would have a better lead on your hands? Yes or no? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. I don't care what you put in there. I'm obviously leading you down a path because the answer is obviously yes. I'm just telling you, build the skill yourself. If you're making the calls yourself, if you have a budget to hire people, great. Hire people. Brandon Mitchell knows. Boom. There we go. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. If you this is the problem why people fire and don't get success with their VAs or call centers or themselves. It's because they don't go that extra layer deep. They don't train people to go that extra layer deep. They just go, hey, would you consider an offer? Yes, I would. What's your offer? I don't know. I'll have somebody call you. We got to go deep. We got to be better. We got to be better in 2025. We got to be way better, right? Dig in deeper. Throw out that softball and see what they do with it. See if they respond positively or if they're like if they're nowhere near the price that you need it to be. Boom. Yes. We've got 2 people that are on the ball out of 100 people watching this right now. Awesome. That's fine. Oh, there we go. Andrea's in it. Now we're having fun. Andrea, you're great. Great picture. Awesome. Look at all the people watching here from Indianapolis, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Virginia, Massachusetts. If you have a property in these states under contract, need help with dispo, hit me up. Expert land sellers. Guys, this is a networking event in the chat, by the way. If you guys aren't letting everybody know where you live and do business, do it. Yeah, it's a little extra bonus to coming to these shows live. But guys, I am telling you that you use this right here. Let me remove this. You use this chart. Let me make it bigger and me smaller. And use the inventory, which is critical to determine what you're making your offer. The only thing the inventory changes is that top line, 70, 80, or 90%. That's all that it changes there. And really 70% minus repairs is really the lowest that really goes, guys. It's really the lowest. That's why it's been taught forever. Because it's like, okay, might as well shoot for a bigger deal and get a guaranteed deal than, trying to shoot too high and have to renegotiate or cancel all the time and like stop the forward momentum that you have in your business. So as a coach, as a teacher, as the professor of real estate, a YouTube professor here, it's easy to go, hey, 70% minus repairs, because it's going to guarantee you're going to get a deal. But in this market, you have to. It's back. Videos of me in 2020, 2021, 2022, first half, it's totally different. It's 80% minus repairs, 90% minus repairs. But now, if you have 3 months of inventory, it's 70% minus repairs. Okay, guys? Fix and flip, again, right here, fix and flip calculator. And I saw a question in there. I think we'll get to it about price per square foot. We'll certainly get to that. But fix and flip repair calculator right there. So now you know this, the percentage that your investors are looking at, the budget that your investors are going to be putting into these, and how they're valuating these properties based on the comparables. You understand what they are determining is the top value. Once it's fixed up, what can I sell this property for? And everything works backwards from there. You guys are locked and loaded. You guys got all of the info that you need to make smart offers. Now you just got to talk to people, baby. Now you just got to have conversations with property owners and make offers. Conversations and offers. It always goes back to that. And if you really break down this business, there's only 3 parts: lead generation, converting those leads into a commitment, and what exit strategy you have. And lead generation just depends on where you're at. Look at that. Guys, I'm loading you up today. I was up late last night, Luke, and I was like, I'm going to blow these guys' face off tomorrow. I'm going to make this like a course that they're taking that people charge thousands for. They're getting for it for free in the first 45 minutes, an hour of the show while I'm answering questions live and giving everybody that shows up to the Brent Daniels YouTube channel all of the skills and ammo they need to go out and to change their freaking lives. Dramatic effect. He's cooking today, as they say. My Rob Swanson coffee mug here. But here, lead generation models, guys. Your lead generation system, the way that you go out and find deals, depends on 3 main factors. Okay? Your schedule, your experience, your budget. You can play around. The 4th one that sometimes I talk about is the market. What market are you in? But if you're part-time or full-time, it's going to depend on what kind of marketing channels you can use. Do you have a budget or you're totally broke? No problem. I've had both. Both are great. Both aren't great. I'll be honest. If you don't have any budget, it's hustle season, and it's going to challenge you like nothing else has ever done, professionally at least. And do you have experience or not? Do you have sales skills? That's what I mean, sales skills. Do you have the ability to ask questions and effectively listen to the answers and get down to the seed? You want to know how to be great at real estate sales? It comes down to one thing. Discovering what is the goal that property owner has with that property. That's it. What is the goal that they have? Getting an honest answer out of that property owner on what is their goal. Right? That's it. That. All of the sales training, split the difference books, sales books, YouTube channels on it, following the dudes on Instagram that are like, oh, if you ask the question, hey, I'm just following up. Oh, you're an idiot. You're an amateur. You'll never make millions like me. Stop. Listen, guys, that's all clickbaity stuff. If you really want to just get down to the core of it, what is their goal? What's your goal with your property? Is their goal a cash as is offer? Perfect. That's where we're at. Is their goal to sell it for as much as possible? Great. Go talk to a real estate agent. Is their goal to keep it and use it as a rental forever? Great. Go use it as a rental forever. I don't care. There's too many opportunities out there in 2025 of people that want cash as is offers because they're done with this property. The skill is finding them. That's it. And once you find them, are you good enough at using your tone of voice? Are you good enough at using your listening skills? Are you good enough at bringing conviction to this business, to bringing a subtle enthusiasm that gives you posture, that gives you the kindness and confidence that you need to ask really great questions and discover what is their goal with this property? That's it. And so when you're looking at your lead generation and you're looking at the three types, the three factors, part-time, full-time, money, no money, new brand, or no experience, or new at sales, at just talking to people. Maybe you're young. Maybe you haven't done a lot of communication with people about their property. Great. Do you know how to listen? Do you know how to use your voice? Do you know how to break people's force field so they feel comfortable really giving you the truth? I think I beat that. I think we get it. So there you go. This chart right here will really help you out, guys. Because you got direct mail, you got referrals, you've got cold calls or SMS, you've got hiring a VA, you've got pay-per-click, and you've got pay-per-lead. I don't have TV on there. I don't have billboards. I don't have all the brand building stuff. But if you are in this business, you're going to run across these typically. And these are the big six, in my opinion. Direct mail, referrals, cold call, SMS, I lump into one. Having a VA do the heavy lifting on the cold calls or SMS, PPC or PPL. And so unless you're full-time, you have money and experience, don't do pay-per-click. Everything else is kind of on the board for you on some level, but until you have, until you can go full-time, have money, and have experience, because pay-per-click is the best of the best. It's not even close. It is the premier, fastest, best leads possible. And if you are full-time and you do have money and you are experienced, go to talktopeople.com. Check us out. We're the absolute best pay-per-click agency on planet Earth for real estate investors. Not even close. They're all in my office right here. I've got half a dozen guys that all day long, they're just psychopaths. Not even all day long, all day, all night, all everything. These guys are young, experienced, wild. If you're interested in that, talktopeople.com. Had to slip in a little plug there, but we're rocking. That wasn't bad, right? Nah, we're good. All right. All right, let's get to some questions, guys. You guys have been patient with me. I'm off my soapbox here, and we'll get to the question. Scott Allen asks, how do We Buy Houses posts usually consist of on social media? Do they usually show houses you flip, or is it just a blank post that just says We Buy Houses? I love this, Scott. People are attracted to conviction. How excited are you to buy houses? That's it. It could be you talking about it. It could be you putting up a meme. It could be a picture of your shoes. It could be a picture of a wall. It could be a picture of a tree or a cactus or a mountain. It could be a picture of an ugly house. It could be a walkthrough of an ugly house. It could be a walkthrough of you going through a neighborhood of properties where you want to buy. It could be you looking at comps. It could be you documenting your day. It could be any of those things, Scott. The fact is, if you go into Facebook and you go into the groups section and you go into the area that you do business and you join community groups, whether it's real estate or whether it's I love monster trucks, I don't care, right? It could be a lot of people get a lot of love out of the befriending people that are in the yard sale groups that just love yard sales, right? You can go in there, friend request everybody. I don't care if you know them or don't know them or whatever. If they look like a real account, friend request them every single day until you have 5,000 friends. And then post to your stories, not to your actual wall, not to your actual story, like profile, but to your stories that disappear every 24 hours because that's where people's eyeballs are. I buy houses cash, send me your deals. Watch what happens. It's going to blow up. If you go into realtor groups, start friending all those people and start putting that in to your daily stories, you will do 4 extra deals. I guarantee it. You will do 4 extra deals in the next 12 months. If you get to 5,000, there's 3 steps to this. 5,000 friends posting every single day, and quickly, this is the toughest part, quickly responding to DMs when they send you DMs, you will do 4 free deals this year, guaranteed. This is 100% success rate for anybody that has followed this instructions. And I will tell you this, we got 91 current people on here. There's going to be thousands of views on this live show. And I will say maybe 1 or 2 people will actually do this every single day and stay committed to it. If you're going to do it, put it in the chat. I'd love to see who's going to commit and put a little bit of accountability, a little bit of pressure on themselves. But yeah, that's what you want to do. It doesn't matter, Scott. It matters your conviction. It matters your enthusiasm and your love for the game. It just attracts. People are so, people's default in life is boring. Boring. It's just boring. You go into people's offices, boring. Going to people, you see people on social media, boring. I mean, they post their highlights, but from a business standpoint, boring. You find that person that's just pumped up. This is my first day in real estate. This is so exciting. I was told to post on here that I buy houses cash, so that's what I'm doing. I buy houses cash. Send me your deals. And then you do that 365 times in a row in a year. You don't think 4 people are going to reach out with deals? It's probably going to be 10. I'm undershooting you. I'm sandbagging you. You got this, Scott. Calvin, hey, Brent. I've been posting We Buy Houses every day since February. Oh, here we go. February on my Facebook and Instagram. I got up to 2,000 friends on Facebook, but only about 50 people are looking each day. Is that enough? Yeah. You need 1, Calvin. Keep going. Keep going. Keep posting. 50 people. 50 people see your stories that would not have seen it before. Imagine once you get to 5,000 and 100 people see your stories. Or the more that you do it every single time, Facebook rewards you. It's the algorithm. Their whole job is to keep you on the app. If they know that you're consistently on the app, that means that you're going to keep people on the app. That means they're going to show your stories to more people. Calvin, crushing. Keep going. Calvin, how many people have reached out to you? How many DMs have you gotten? Let me know. The new iOS update now screen calls automatically, which might make cold calling even harder. Screens called. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been doing that for a while, Howard. Yeah. I mean, the pickup rate could be lower. We'll see. We'll see. You know, it'd be an interesting study, and I don't know how we could pull this off, guys, but this would be interesting. How many of the property owners that we go on those appointments have iPhones? Yeah. Right? Yeah. How many of them have iPhones? I mean, here's the thing. If we're using a dialer, it's going to get us in contact with 10 or 15 people an hour. It will. So is there a lot of people that we're not going to get a hold of? Absolutely. Is there going to be more screening and blocking? Absolutely. Is there going to be more faster where they take a number that we buy and put it to scam likely or spam likely or something like that? Absolutely. People still answer those calls every day. Every millisecond of every second of every minute of every hour of every day, people are answering. I don't know why. I wouldn't answer those calls, but people do. People do. So you combine that every single day. I'm going to talk to 5 new people, 10 new people with posting every single day that I buy houses. And you're like, if I did 10 deals this year, average deal size is $15,000. That's $150,000. A dialer costs $150. Deal machine's $150. You get 10,000 skip trace for free. You get all the numbers there. So you're in $300 times 12. You're in $3,600 a year. Now you're putting your time in. You're putting your time and effort in. But for $3,600 a year to make $150,000 a year. Oh, by the way, it also takes 7 minutes to friend request people and post once a day to Facebook that you buy houses. It takes 7 to 15 minutes a week times 52 weeks. Let's say it takes 500 minutes to do that. It's free though. 500 minutes a year. Make $150,000. 200,000 in some areas. 250 in other areas. $250,000 a year from posting every single day to Facebook and just picking up the phone and talking to 5, 10, 15 people a day. Making offers. It is undefeated, guys. The problem is it scares you. What really derails everybody is when you get those $30,000 checks and it blows your brain. And then all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I got to do something with this money. I'm going to get taxed. It's too much money. It feels weird. It feels heavy in my bank account. Feels like I don't really deserve it. All these weird things that because of our 0 to 12 years old upbringing, financial thermostat, where that's set at. And then we give all the money back. We don't keep it. We don't pay off all our consumer debts. We don't get rid of student loans and car payments and credit card payments and all this nonsense. We go and invest back in our company. Don't do that. Invest in your company after you get your consumer debts paid. I'm not a financial planner or advisor. Do what you want. But that's what I did. And it was awesome. Anthony, I made a deal with a seller, but had to renegotiate. She owes more than expected and now won't close, even though I offered to cover the $2,000 difference. I invested a lot in this property. Is there a second part? Oh, what should I do? Yeah, Anthony, I think that there's some missing pieces here that would be good for me to understand. It sounds to me that the seller would sell if they got a certain amount. When they walked away, they're not getting that certain amount. So they're like, why would I sell? And if that's the case, if they're truly not going to sell, you can't force them. So the question is, and I'd love to put it in the chat if you're still here. Hope you are, Anthony. Have you asked them the question, if you don't sell this, what are you going to do with the property? What's your plans? Because you need to understand their plans. All right. Ooh, what? Oh my gosh. Oh, I got to skip to this one. Tim Warner. Just had my first lead reach out from my Facebook post. Turned out not to be a deal, but cool to know it's starting to work. Only 700 friends so far too. Boom. Telling you, Tim, that's a win to me. That is a win to me. By the way, look at Kyle, one of our PPC guys. Yeah, Justin and Landon right here. I can see Landon through his little office door window. He's in there talking. He might be talking to Kyle right now on his team. He's on the phone talking every single lead that we got from PPC, going to one of our clients and reviewing what's working, what's not, if they need some strategies, if they need some coaching, if they need some help, what do they need there? And did they respond fast enough and get these people on the phone and in front of them to be able to get that deal? Or they're celebrating some big, fat, juicy deals that they got. I'm telling you, more six-figure deals come from PPC than anything. Not even close. Awesome job, Tim. Hey, listen, that's a glimmer. That's a little glimmer. That's a little shine. That's a little bit of just, it hits your brain, gives you a little bit of dopamine to keep going. Because Tim, you've been documenting and you've been going for a long time. The story that you're going to have after this long without doing a deal is going to be bananas. If you stay with it. There is no failure. Remember, failure is psychological. You understand that, right? Like the only like real life failure is death. And you're dead, so you know it doesn't even matter. Right? I don't remember. It might have been Hermosi that was saying this. Maybe somebody else.
Oh, it was Jocko. Jocko was saying this. Failure is just psychological. It's all what we made up in our head. Oh, I didn't get that deal. Well, okay. You'll get the next one or the next one. You gotta keep that positivity. You gotta be optimistic as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Have to be. Because the psychological, if you quit and do something else, that's life. That's what that's. I don't even know if that's failure. I think that's just changing what you want to do with your life. You know what I mean? People are fail forward. Failure is psychological. False evidence appearing real. Jerry Lima you know what, Jerry? You got it. Come on. You guys get it. You guys are feeling it. So you got to find out, Anthony, to get back to this real quick, you have to find out if they have a goal. What is their true goal now? Are they going to really sell? Did they get a higher offer? Can you put a memo on it for the next 6 months? And if they try to sell it in the next 6 months, then you have a conversation that says, hey, listen, I was closing. I was there. You changed your mind. You breached the contract, right? Or do you just let it go and just say, hey, listen, I'm done? You have to use your instincts on this. You got to use, kind of, wait, are they just not communicating? Could somebody have come in and give them, kind of tried to seduce them with a higher offer, or maybe they just like them more or whatever? I have a Cardell. I have a 15K deal with a buyer, but can't close because title has 16 to 18 sellers. Whew, been there. Spent 3 hours at the genealogy library finding the family. Should I drop the deal, do a quiet title action, or offer to buy out rights? Ooh, great question here. I go to the title company and I go, hey, title company, what needs to happen for me to buy this house? Who needs to sign? Who truly needs to sign? And they go, all 16 to 18. Okay, what about quiet title? What if one of them got quiet title? Yeah, that would work. Okay, great. So which one's easier? Getting 16 to 18 people doing it or getting quiet title? Right? Buy the rights, offer to buy out the rights. I don't know. That seems real tricky. And now one family member sold their rights to you. There's 15 other that hate you now. They don't know who you are. They want to, I don't know. It feels to me like I'm getting into quicksand in that situation. So I would just ask title, what's the fastest way to buy this house? Like, what is the fastest way? That's what I would do. And let them tell you. Let them do their job. Javier. Hi, Brent. When starting off, is it better to go after on-market or off-market properties? Great question, Javier. Well, there's a difference, right? If you go for on-market properties, you're going to be using the realtor purchase agreement, right? Come on in, Raf. Guys, everybody, the incredible, the intrepid, Rafael Cortez. Thank you very much. Grab your mic. Top of the hour is my favorite. Rafael pops in. So when you go for on market, you've got to use the realtor contract, which is different. You have to have proof of funds, which means you get a letter from a hard money lender or an actual proof of a bank account. You have to have 1% earnest money typically. So there's a lot more hoops you have to jump through, but the first and biggest hoop that we deal with is, does this seller actually want to sell this property? And the answer is yes, because it's on the market.
Right.
So it's like, pick your difficulty. Is it the difficulty of jumping through the hoops of working with an agent, or is it the difficulty of talking to a tremendous amount of people that don't want to sell to find the people that do want to sell? Me, I like going off market. I like reaching out. I like finding the deals that nobody else knows about. I like really negotiating between me and that property owner, because the more buyers know about a deal, the more offers they get, the more typically you have to offer for that property, which means your deals are smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you go to market, it's what you see is just smaller on average, right? Smaller profits and fees and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
Also, I mean, I don't think it's less competitive at this point. A lot of people are going to the market to find deals and, strategically, right? Like you have softwares that are just blasting out everybody and their mom that's on the market. It's still going to make it, like you said, it's still going to make it difficult. So It's not any easier, right? And when you're in front of the deal, first come, first serve, and you go direct to the seller, you have a lot more options to it. You can decide what to do with it. So yeah, I mean, off market, in my opinion, all day long. Yeah.
Ralph, Brennan, one challenge: the inventory math, properties active divided by the numbers sold in the past 30 days equals month of inventory, not the pendings. I could be wrong. It's the pendings. How many are selling this month? I want to know how many are so the pendings tell you what's happening now. The solds told you what happened in the past.
Right.
And in a market like this, Ralph, with as much turbulence as there is, with as much spotlight there is on the government and on all of this drama, like as soon as Trump was elected, the media companies like celebrated. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it because now they can just sell all sorts of things for forever, right? And so a lot of that is doom and gloom about the economy, right? When there's doom and gloom about the economy, this builds turbulence in the real estate market, and things dip. Things take some dips. And so I want to know what things are selling for right now, because the exact same house, Ralph, could have been listed for 500, sold for 490, done a month ago, but the one pending right now is at 475.
Yeah.
Big difference.
If you want to get a little bit more, I guess, into the weeds of that, look at days on market. I mean, that's also a very good indicator, right, of how fast it's moving. So now we have pendings, and then you have on average how long it takes for those pendings to close. And days on market combined with pendings are going to tell you the supply and demand on any market, demand mostly. So
Papa Bear in a chair.
They
love it. Ask, when you do your inventory, are
I
you
have
looking
so many questions right now?
I know. Are you doing the whole market, or do you do it specifically for single family? I will do it just like for like. Yeah. Is it a single family? I'll go, is it a single family, single story? That's why you can play around more if you have some tools. You can't really do as much. You can do some on realtor.com or redfin.com. You can play around with the filters to find the perfect ones. But I'm speaking kind of out of turn or out of the side of my mouth, because I use our MLS, right? Oh, he's a disabled father. Awesome. Well, great to be in here, Papa Bear, in the chair. That's the answer your question.
All my questions got answered right now. One message. Right
that's it. So yeah, like for like, for sure. Papa Bear in the chair. How many kids you got, Papa Bear? Arturo, you want to answer this?
My cousin.
Yes, your cousin.
Arturo Cortez, not really my cousin, but probably my cousin. How can I use price per square footage?
We say that because his last name's Cortez.
Yes.
I hope everybody understands.
To analyze properties. Thanks, Brent. Price per square foot. I mean, what?
I don't want to think that like we just broadly, hey, everybody's your cousin.
Yeah, I mean, all Mexico is my cousin. So no. How do I use price per square footage to analyze properties? Basically, I mean, you're gonna look for 5 relevant properties, right? And what you do is you're gonna figure out what the price per square footage of each one of those properties is, and then do a combined estimate of everything. So, for example, if you have a property that when it's sold, or the pending price, even if you verify it, gives you a $200 a square foot, and then the next one gives you a $220 a square foot, the other one gives you a $180 a square foot, right? You do the math on those, you're gonna end up with a pretty dialed in average, right? But try to do 3 to 5 comps at least to get something that's relevant. It gets a lot closer than just going off of like within 300 square feet of the property, like some of those rule of thumbs that or the rule of thumb approach that we have on a lot of these, quick comping mechanism. It takes a lot longer though. So it depends on where, I mean, one thing, not that I want to segue from that question, but one thing, if you're analyzing properties, make sure that you're dialing first, making sure they have interest, and then spend the time, right, to go through all these numbers.
Of course. Yeah. Don't do any research until you have a conversation, until you have a lead. And a lead is somebody that has made the decision they're going to sell the property. Okay. Now, Arturo, I haven't used price. When I started out, I was taught price per square foot as a realtor, right? Appraisers do use it. They do. I don't. I haven't used price per square foot in, I don't know, 10 years. I look at what is the highest sale, nicest house, that's similar square footage, similar floor plan.
Yeah.
That's what I look at. This is what I'm looking at right here, Raf. I'm looking at, is it in the neighborhood? I'm looking neighborhood first. Number one, because it's going to be similar construction, similar age home, right? Similar lot sizes. Is it within, and if there's nothing in the neighborhood, I'm going half mile, then I'll go a mile. I'm looking, what is the last 3 months? What is the last 3 months telling me? If I'm really rural, there's no comps, I'm going 6 months, and then I'm going a year. I would rather time travel than location travel, like literally like widen the aperture on the location outside of the neighborhood. I go, what has sold in this neighborhood in the last 3 months?
Yeah.
One. Okay. What has sold in this neighborhood in the last six months? Right?
Yeah.
Do you do the same?
I do the exact same thing. I take timeline before.
We're so smart, bro.
I'm telling you.
We are so smart.
Our moms were right.
Oh my gosh.
The whole time.
They keep telling us.
Man, try to max it out at 1 year. I mean, if you don't have to go that far out, it's a good thing. But comping that way, it's going to be a lot better too. What happens too, Brent, is there's a lot of, like, for example, if you have a big discrepancy in the square footage of the house, one property, because it's so big in any particular area, right? It can be like a 5,000 square foot home. It's going to give you a price per square footage of like 160. And then the average house is at, 210 or 220, right? So that's going to throw off the average price per square foot on the area. So you got to be careful when you're comping the price per square foot.
Papa Bear in the chair has one 12-year-old daughter. I saw that. I'm trying to find it, but there it is. Wait, there it is. Boom. That's
nice.
Awesome. That is amazing. All right, here we go. We already did that. Oh, yep, we did that.
Bringing the questions. I like, Brent, we look so smart with the books behind us.
Yeah.
Did you ever read all those?
Huh?
Did you read all those?
I got to get rid of these. Yeah, I read all the books behind us. Yeah, it's definitely not an AI.
It is not a screen, guys. It's real
Andrea,
library.
any feedback on text blasting software for Flow?
Any feedback on text blasting software for?
Have you heard? So it started out the new case that just closed between Fast Cash Offer and somebody here locally. And the judge said, when you call somebody and ask them if they would sell you the property, you're offering to buy their property. It is not considered solicitation. Or actually what he said is the definition of solicitation has not been defined enough for me to go against the definition, the vague definition instilled by, I think, Congress for the TCPA.
Right. Yeah, I saw that this morning. I got
it's going to affect texting too.
Yeah, it is. That was for cold calling, right? But the claim is still the same thing. The method is going to be the same thing.
I texted Robert Allen, and he said, "This is what he told me," and Eric Allen, and not Robert Allen. Robert's in our family mastermind. Yeah. Eric Allen, and I said, one, to get on here, and he's preparing for a case. But he goes, it's a great example of a judge who interprets the TCPA properly for once.
Yeah.
And I said, how does this affect text messages? And he says, the case isn't binding on any other court or judge, but yeah, the analysis would apply to both SMS and calls, smiley face.
So now there's precedent to it. I mean, there already was, but I guess it wasn't that strong of a case, a prior one, because they did mention it. I mean, on the email that I got just for notifying me letting me know about that. But it's
I think people will still push for it though.
Yeah,
I think the people that are professional litigators or the attorneys that are professional TCPA litigators are still going to push to shake you down.
Yeah,
because they're like, yeah, you could fight me, but it's going to cost you 10, 15 grand to hire an attorney to fight me, even though you're right. So why don't you just settle with me for 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand?
Yeah. It's pretty interesting how texting used to be one of those like super easy strategies, kind of like turn and burn and set it and forget it and let it just, pump leads down the pipeline.
Yep.
And because of all the red flags, because of all the, the words that are not allowed and all the compliance issues and all that stuff, it's become a lot harder, right? To roll out a text campaign. But I have students doing that right now, and they're doing pretty good on texting. So
what platform?
There's a service provider they're using. I have 2 students doing it. They're using the same guy. I don't have his info. I'm gonna try him out. I'm gonna see how they
text your peeps. Let's find out. Maybe we'll find out during the show.
Yeah. I'm gonna see how they work, because I mean it's pretty interesting bringing texting back. I mean, I know I did a lot of deals through texting, so it'd be really cool if somebody does it right. Yeah. So
Lamore asks, how do you go about calculating ARV when your subject property is a 1-story, but the only comps in the area are a 2-story? You gotta go wider in your location. And you gotta go back. So if you're 3 months, go 6 months and see if there's any 1-stories. If there's no 1-stories that have sold in 6 months of that property, then you need to go back to 3 months, but open up your area and see what's going on. And that leads me to wonder, wait a second. If nobody else has a 1-story in a land of 2 stories, how does that fit in? I don't like being the weird house. You certainly don't want to be the biggest house in the neighborhood as a comp. Like literally biggest. And you don't want to be the weirdest.
Yeah.
Typically. I'll tell you what, I sold an earthen home one time. You familiar with an earthen home? So it's like they dig out a big hole in the ground.
Sounds like an alien ship.
Yes. It looks exactly like that. You walk into the front door. It's like it looks like a hat. Looks like a little like a bowler hat. And you walk in, and then it's a spiral staircase down to the rest of the house.
Where was this at?
And it's right in Mesa.
Really? Here in town? Yeah. Wow.
I'll pull it up as you answer a call. I'll pull that up. That'd be cool.
Cool.
But you gotta find 1-stories and 2-stories.
I mean, niche buyers, they're a lot tougher to find, especially for something like that. Remember, we're pitching to investors. Investors like the conveyor belt, type of model, right? They don't want to, for the most part, not all of them want to deal with just things that are, out of whack or different and whatnot. They want the sellable things.
Yep.
So the more different it is, the tougher it can be to sell a property like that. I want to check.
Go ahead and do this one.
Papa Bear in and share is back. So right. I've had many people ask me to call their warm leads when they never trained the VAs on what a qualified lead is. Anything is for sale for the right price. Isn't a motivated seller. That is 100% true. So the fastest way to get around those leads, and there's probably money there. I mean, if you're looking at a stack of a couple hundred people that have come in through cold calling, I guarantee you're going to find money. The reason I say that is because we go back to our dead leads twice a year. Every 6 months, we go back through our dead lead database and we start hitting them. We start requalifying them and then bring those back. And like every single time we get a handful of deals out of that stack.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in there. Yeah, it might be a little, more tedious and more work to go through that kind of stuff, but just go through the pillars: condition, timeline, motivation, and price. I like doing it in that order, because of the difficulty of the conversation and how personal you get, right? If you talk about condition, it's something that, they're mostly prepped and ready to talk about. Then the timeline is the thing that kind of leads into that situational thing. You're getting a little bit more personal in that, but it's not, so intrusive. And then the motivation, it's usually there's a segue when they talk about the timeline into what's motivating them to sell. So doing a quick, not, you don't have to spend with these leads specifically because they're cold calling and cold calling leads, and it sounds like they're not necessarily super qualified. You don't have to spend, an hour with them on the phone each. But it'd be a good idea to still go through them in a really quick pre-qualifier, type of way. So and then
I
the
would have the VAs go through this process on every single lead they send in to me.
Yeah,
I would make this mandatory. I would say VAs have to throw out the softball.
Yeah.
Properties, your neighbors, similar to your house, similar condition. If it's rough, if they're talking to somebody and they're saying, yeah, it's in rough condition, it's this and that, or they're just not giving any info and you just want to see if this is a total waste of time, throw out these, it looks like your neighbors are selling for around, boom, 50% of his estimate. 35% of his estimate, 10% of his estimate. If it's 250,000 and more, 50%. If it's 250 to 100,000, 35%. If it's 100,000, 10%. Baby, do you feel me? Feel me in the crowd. I'm telling you, have your VAs do this filter. They're going to give you better leads. And then they're going to go, oh, even if they go, I told this guy that we could give him $300 for a $600,000 house, and he said he won't look at anything above $485. Now you've got a lead. You got a name, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Wonderful. You have an address, 1212 Banana Street. You've got a price, $485. You got the condition, needs work. Now you call them up and you understand, okay, this might have a little bit more quality. Do they actually need to sell this property? Do they want to sell this property? Is it something where they've made the decision that they're going to sell this property?
Yeah. The cold callers, think of them as dequalifying, right? Like they dequalify people because they're going to go through a lot of records. If you can have them dequalify some of that, those trash leads that come through and they're nothing. This is a great way of doing that.
AJ, Brent, I'm new at this. Can you please right now, what would be the best way to find deals without paying? Go door knock.
Door knocking.
AJ, I started door knocking in 2012, and I just went out to every house. Because I was an agent, I could list a house, I could get it to my investor buyers, all these things. This is how I learned what wholesaling even was, because I was giving these properties that were sold as is cash off the market to my investors, and they went and wholesaled them to somebody else that went and did the deals. And I was like, what is this? And then I found out what wholesaling was, and then I went into Apple podcasts and I typed in wholesale real estate, and this podcast Wholesaling Inc popped up, and I heard this crazy man Tom Kroll on there, and he had a coaching program, and I joined that for $5,000 back in 2016 after I was already doing deals because I wanted to be by him. And then I just really got good at understanding how to grow the wholesaling business and replace myself, and it's fantastic. But I started this business out by just going and knocking on doors of properties that were in rough shape, properties that were in pre-foreclosure, properties that, showed some form of motivation, right? And so you could pull those lists. You can pull them free from propwire.com. Jerry Norton put it out for free. He wants your email. He's going to email you a bunch. You'll buy something from him at some point. It's genius.
Yeah.
Right? Propwire.com. He does great stuff. You can go and get all of these lists for absolutely free. You want to step it up and get all the phone numbers and get accurate and be able to have a CRM and have all these other tools, get Deal Machine.
Another way of getting those lists. Okay, so AJ, here's a quick little roadmap for that, right? You can go to propwire.com. There you go. And you can also pull them from your local title company. So go to them and ask them to give you pre-foreclosure leads, and then ask them to give you the 60 days late if they have that. And then ask them to give you code violations list. If some of them will provide them, some of them won't. But literally, you can go to a title company and ask them to give you those lists. Let them know that you're dropping marketing campaigns and you're going to bring them the business. That's what they want. So that's one way of getting those lists. Basically, you cross-reference the addresses, create a mapping route, and then go hit 25 houses out of those, right? There's ways of finding out, how much equity they have to see it's worth the drive, but you can screen those out through services like PropStream and things like that. But it's not difficult, and that's a free way of getting leads through the door. It is going to take some elbow grease though. So, but yeah, think about it this way, right? Like you're one deal away.
Post. And AJ, I have a video on here. Luke, will you put a link to the video that we did about getting the 4 free deals this year from Facebook? Don't go to it now, guys. We'll just let it live in the chat. Actually, let's do this. Let's put it in the comments after the show's done. Look at this. Okay. AJ, follow that video. You're going to go into the groups. You're going to friend request as many people as possible every single day till you have 5,000 Facebook friends. Then you're going to post a story. I buy houses every single day. It's free. You don't have to door knock. You just have to get loud and you'll get free deals that way. All right. Boom. Now I want to answer this one more time just so that everybody understands this. Let's go to the board. Eduardo is asking, put me on the lapel. You're on it. By the way, guys, Matt, who's our producer, has been gone selfishly with his family and his small children for a long time to go hang out with his family in California, abandoning Raph and I and Luke. So Luke had to do everything. So Luke's running the cameras. Luke's running the studio. He's going bananas. So let's give it up for Luke in the chat. Give it up for Luke. Yeah.
Yeah, go.
All right. So inventory. Are the actives divided by the properties that are pending? This means that they are under contract, but not closed. All right, guys, sold, give you the past. Pending or under contract give you the now. We have to live here. You have to get this number. It's super easy to get on realtor.com. You go and search, and when you go to filters in there, it will remove the pendings and under contract properties. So when you're pulling up in a certain area, it's got all the listings. Whatever, let's go Tucson, Arizona. Tucson, this amount of listings. And then you go over to the right-hand side in realtor.com. It's got a little drop down and it shows hide pendings and under contracts. And then you push that button and it gets rid of all those. So it just shows the active. So now you've got the total active and pendings as your first number, which will go actives plus pendings. Okay. And then the second number is just the actives. So if you minus this, you get the pendings. And then divide these. Okay. So you get rid of the actives here the pendings to get here. Then you know how many are left over. And then you subtract that and you get the pendings, and bippity boppity boo, you got inventory.
And is the time frame 3 months? Or what's the he was asking about a 3-month inventory.
How do you tell if it's less or more than 3 months? It's this number. If the active is 300 properties and the pendings are 100, what's 300 divided by 100? 3. So whatever this number is divided by this will tell you the months of inventory. If this is 3,000, that would be 30 months of inventory. And if you just want to be lazy, you could probably chat GPT it. What is the current inventory of homes available on the market in X area? Might not be right though. So maybe do the work. I'm in Missouri. I'm actually looking at the house 2 doors down from where I live with fire damage. Okay. Is that a question?
Those are hot.
What are you doing, Lou?
Ba-dum-ps.
This guy. Wow. Awesome. Go get him. I love fire damage. Remember, with fire damage, you're probably $125 a square foot, $150 a square foot for the area that's damaged. So usually it's the kitchen. Unless it's like a drug house, then it could literally be anywhere. I don't know what they're doing. They're lighting all sorts of things on fire, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what happens in drug houses. Yeah.
They're smoking it up.
I've had
They're smoking up drugs.
Either that or making, and then it blows up, and then
That's a whole different.
I sold a crack house once, or a meth house. They were making meth on it. It's crazy.
How do you determine as is value, or how do you comp a potential deal that's a lot with a tear down property? Well, this answers the first question, Joel, which is you take what's the property totally fixed up. So you look for a property that's totally fixed up. Boom, that's your top line number. Then if you have more than 3 months inventory, you take 30% off the top. You times that by 0.7. Then you minus the repairs. Repairs are right here. Boom. Right? Under 1,500 square feet, 3 different categories: easy, needs work, and wow, this is bad. It has different budgets. Different sizes have different budgets. So make sure you take this. Any major renovation, add 10K on top. If you're in an area that has a median sale price over 500,000, add 20% to these numbers. Why? Because appliances cost more, baby. Because fixtures cost more. That little hangly, dangly light costs more.
The bling.
The blingity bling, baby. Right?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling it today.
I hope so.
I'm feeling you today.
I hope so. Oh wow.
Poor choice of words.
All right. So as is value is ARV 7. I mean, it just depends on if you're doing this deal yourself, by the way. But I would build in 30%. I would think like a cash buyer. I'm taking 30% off the top for profit, for closing costs, for holding costs, for commissions, for close. I already got the closing cost for all those, right? So I'm holding those off. That's the 30. That's where the 30%. And then what's it going to cost for me to fix it up? And that's the as is value. That's the value that you should buy it at, or one of your investors should buy it at. Now, as wholesalers, we go one layer deeper to put in our fee for our expertise for finding that deal, negotiating the deal, and matching that deal up with another investor that wants to do that deal. That's why we get paid.
One thing that we throw out there whenever we come across a teardown property is, there's going to be a teardown cost.
Mm-hmm.
So a demo, it's an additional cost in there. So that's something that you can talk about with the seller as well and justify that lower anchor price point.
Yep. This goes back to Jose. Locked up a pre-foreclosure at 180K. ARV is 400K.
Ooh.
Thanks, Brent and Raphael, for the guidance. Consistency pays off. Hoping for a 30K assignment. Now let's look at this though. I think we might be able to squeeze a little more out of this, Jose. We'll see. But I'm gonna be a mentalist. I've been watching O's, The Mentalist. Have you seen that guy?
No,
he's bananas. He was on Joe Rogan, and then that just led me down a rabbit hole.
Is it good?
Bro,
O's.
it is.
I'll
send you some videos. It'll blow your mind. Let's look at this deal though. And I'm gonna assume I think I actually comped this deal for Jose, as a matter of fact. Let me see. Let me see. Yes,
that's
there
awesome.
It is. I comped this deal. Let me see how big it is. I'm thinking, I remember this. It's like 1,000 square feet.
Let us know in the comments.
So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's do this right now. Let's do this as we're talking. Okay. We're looking at this, and switch me over here. So Raph, pull out your calculator, please.
Check.
Okay. So we're at 400,000. What's 70%?
280.
280,000. It's 1,000 square foot, 1,100 square foot house. If I remember correctly, Jose, you can put in the chat if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 1,100 square feet based on, hold on, let's switch this up. Based on this now,
It's under 1,500 square feet. It is, wow, this is bad, right?
Yep.
So, wow, this is bad is 50,000. Let's say it needs a new roof, Raph. Let's add another 10,000. Let's say it needs new windows. It's another 10,000. So this thing is, oh, he's right. He's right. He's spot on. I traded right, Jose. You're spot on. Look at this, because this puts you at 210, right?
Yeah.
210,000. He got locked up for how much?
180.
180. He's looking to make how much?
Let's go.
This guy knows his stuff.
Oh yeah.
This guy knows his stuff. Now, my strategy is I would push this out. Jeremy would probably push this out at 75% and see if there's any buyers, and then renegotiate, like come back down with it. So you might want to push it 225 and see if there's any buyers.
Let me throw something out there. This one thing that we do on the dispo side adds a good average on, $5 to $15 extra $1,000 to the deals. So we rerun comps. You know how we lock them up? We always instruct to lock them up on the the lower thirds of the comps, right?
Yep.
Lock them up based on the lower numbers. So we lock them up on the lower numbers. When you're comping, you look for a range of like 5 comps, right? So you're gonna have a low comp and a high comp. So rerun your comps after you locked up the deal and see if you can find any higher comps. For example, in this case, right, ARV is 400. See if you can find comps that are in the 420, 410, 415, 430, something like that, and sell it. Rerun your numbers, sell it based off of those high numbers, and do the same math. So you're going to back into another number, but now you're looking at a 35, 40, 45K spread because you found the higher comps on that. So underwrite the deals twice. Once when you lock them up based on low comps, and sell it to your buyers based on high comps. That's going to create extra margin in there. So I'm telling you that that works great. And you're not making up stuff. You're not, BSing people. It's comps that are out there that sold for higher. So take a look at that. See if you can find some stuff, Jose. And congratulations, man. Nailed down the numbers.
Nailed it down.
Bam.
Oh, really? You want to drop this on us, huh?
Ooh.
AI cold calling agent is popping out of nowhere.
How do you say that name?
What's your take on it, Brent? Well, it depends, right? If you are cold calling, if you're creating a initial contact, this clearly falls into robocalling. This isn't a TCPA thing. This is a it is a TCPA thing, but robocalling, they'll get you. That might be that's what they're going to do. That's what the litigators are going to do. They're going to go, it's not going to be that you called me, I'm on the DNC. They're going to go, you robocalled me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's somebody on there, they're going to think it's AI, or they're going to try to push that it's AI, right? Yeah. I bet that's their sneaky little, this door is closed. Let's go through this window.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that if there's any route to take, I mean, I think it'd be that. I think AI is good for the follow-up stuff. I don't know. I'm still, a little apprehensive about it when it comes to generating leads from just turning a switch on, because that's where people are getting dinged.
It is a significant challenge.
Yeah.
To train a human being.
Yeah.
To have the critical thinking skills, to really get discovery on what is the goal that this property owner has with this property. Is AI there yet? I don't believe so. Yeah. Could it be? That's scary to think about. It might be what happens, but it's scary to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been watching these AI. Have you seen those AI guys on TikTok? Yeah. That it's like Sasquatch.
We could be.
And they're like
right
like vlogging, and then those guys sell the prompts to those. So now there's like 1,000 channels. He just bought them. I wanted you to do it. Oh, hell yeah! It's crazy. It's really interesting what's happening out there. Anyway. Let's get back to real estate, not Sasquatch and Yetis.
Those are funny, by the way. I'm telling you.
They are, right?
Yeah, they're very entertaining.
Oh,
I mean,
you
can lose 30 minutes in there. My bathroom breaks got a lot longer.
Yeah, that's it. How do you find an accurate ARV if there is a huge difference in price in your comp? So look for the highest sale, the best deal. The best deal. Yep. Yeah, you're looking for somebody that has flipped, because every investor that you're looking at, if they're buying for investment. Now, this is different, guys. If you're working in a market where you're selling to a lot of buy and holds, which I don't see a lot, but there are people that, they do BRRRR strategy. They need ugly houses that they could buy, fix up, rent, and then refinance. And that's their whole strategy. But interest rates have really crushed that strategy on some levels. It's not gone. It's still a great strategy. And I think the people that coach that strategy know what they're talking about, but it's more difficult, and they have to get bigger discounts now, which means they need us more than ever. But for the most part, we're selling properties to people that are going to fix and flip these things, right? And they're going to look for what is the highest sale. And the BRRRR strategies are going to look for what is the highest sale to refinance that deal. So look, I always find one that is a really solid comp, and that's going to outweigh the rest. And then the cash buyers usually understand. The investors usually understand what the value is, and that you're not over your skis with the prices that you want for the property as is.
Yeah, try to keep it as simple as possible too. I mean, running the comps, use the standard method. I mean, Brent lays it out. You gave it, I think, like 5 or 6 times already during the time we're here. So keep it simple, and remember, you're not appraisers. So don't try to get it down to the penny. Get a decent range that will allow you to create a maximum allowable offer, for the acquisition side. And then, of course, I highly recommend you do that again and run it off of the higher comps for the dispo side. But it's not a very, very complicated process. Don't waste too much think power on that.
So Scott, definitely talk to the title company with this question. The question is, what is quiet title? Great question. So in my experience, when there is a lot of family members that don't communicate with each other, and there's one family member that wants to sell a property and they feel like they have rights to it and nobody else is going to disagree with that, they can go through the courts and get quiet title, which gives notice to everybody that might have potential ownership in the property and says, hey, listen, Raphael wants this property to just go to him. Does anybody have any objections to that? If nobody responds to it, then you can get what's called quiet title, right? And there's some nuance to it, but that's essentially what it is.
They publish it.
Yeah.
So it's out there in the open public.
Yep. Devin, hey, Brent, would you lock up a deal with an active, violent squatter? Considering numbers work and estimating a full rehab, sellers don't want to deal with the eviction, so we can't get our interior pictures. We do this every month. Devin, every month. And it is remarkable how many of these violent squatters are actually very reasonable people. They just don't like the owner. The owner, in most times, has said, you can live here.
Yeah.
You can live here for exchange of X, Y, and Z. And then they go, well, I only agreed to X and Y. I didn't agree to Z. And they wanted Z. And now they're telling me I have to get out. And I did X and Y and blah. It turns into this mess.
Yeah.
So you want to get in there and you want to be friends with everybody, right? You want to be like a big old fluffy teddy bear where you just go in and you just let them snuggle in and you put your big paws on them and you just say, hey, talk to me. What happened, you sweet little squatter? What happened? Okay. Yeah. Give them a little
relax,
little shoulder rub.
Relax them. Yeah.
Don't put your hands on them. No.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You want to build some rapport with whoever's in there. And they might have a totally different, and they usually do have a totally, very rarely it's like a stranger that's squatting in a house. Very rarely. Would you say?
Yeah. Unless it's like somebody who's been there for 10 years, the owner hadn't seen the property in 5
How often
15 years. Rarely. I've done it maybe once or twice,
right.
and since 2009.
Thousands of times.
Yeah. So look at it this way, Devin, right? You have two problems to solve. You have the seller's problem, which we always talk about. You got to lead with value. You got to figure out what the seller's problem is. You got to figure that one out. And then you have to figure out what the squatters or the tenant's problem is, right? And then come to a common term. So it's two different issues that you might be working parallel to each other in order to get to the closing. It's going to take a little bit of extra work, but if the numbers work, it's definitely worth the deal. Get creative, think outside the box, see what they need, right? I mean, I've done cash for keys a bazillion times.
All the time.
Where you pay them off. Hey, listen, at the close of escrow, when the property is vacant and everything, we'll put it in writing. We'll give you, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever, depending on how big the deal is. You don't want to give them 50% of the assignment, but you want to negotiate a fee, right? That way they can get out of there and then land on their feet and get a rental place or do whatever, right? But you have to sell that to them and make them understand or help them understand that you're there to solve their problem as well. So you have two issues there. Solve them both.
Hood Poppy in the house. Can you explain to me, like a 5-year-old, what is the process when closing in escrow from finding a cash buyer to assigning it? Yes. All right. Find an ugly house. Talk to the property owner. Do they want to sell the house? Yes or no? Yes. Great. Make an offer. Did they agree to the offer? Yes or no? Yes. Great. Put the property under contract, which is get a purchase agreement and fill it out with their name, your name, the address, the price, the earnest deposit. Earnest deposit is required to make that contract valid in a lot of areas. It's called consideration. It could be $1. It could be $1,000. It could be at 1%. It could be $100,000. It could be anything. But that is one of the negotiating points. Make sure you have an inspection period, which is a contingency that says I have 10 days to approve that I want to move forward with purchasing this property. Okay. You open up you give it the purchase agreement to the title company. Well, you know what? What am I doing? I got it right here. Just keep going and I'll get it. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
So yeah. And then you're asking also about the escrow process. Basically, when you open escrow, you're going to talk to your title company. You send them the contract and you let them know, hey, listen, I have a new contract that I need to close. They're gonna open that. I mean, we like opening escrow when we get the contract in. And then what we do is we use that time. So at the same time, while you open escrow, where you're in escrow, you're finding a buyer for that property. So technically, or theoretically, you're going to have around 30 days, right? Because you lock it up and then you have a 30-day close of escrow. You're going to have a 30-day period where you need to find a cash buyer for it. So there's so many different ways of doing it. I mean, we love Investor Base is a really good source for that. So you go and find your cash buyer. You take their information, you take the assignment, which is a separate agreement, right? The assignment is a separate agreement than the contract agreement. It's kind of like your contract with your buyer. You fill that out, you come to terms. If you bought the house for $100,000 and you sold it for $115,000, right? Your assignment is $115,000. So now your cash buyer is going to pay you the $115,000 or pay it to title. And then title is going to pay the seller, and then you keep that $15,000 for yourself. So the escrow process and the process of getting a buyer under contract, I mean, it's not that complicated. Just think about this, right? All the nuisances, for the most part, title is going to handle those. So don't get.
I'll give it even easier. We should have gone this route.
Yeah, and I complicate everything.
We should have gone this route because I started. I gave you like all the momentum. You're like, oh, I'm going to tear into this. Here's the 17 steps of every deal.
Bam.
If you're listening to this on the Wholesale Hotline podcast or Wholesaling Inc podcast, come check us out. Brent Daniels YouTube channel. You can get all of it. Make sure you subscribe. Guys, if you're getting value, make sure that you subscribe. We're going live Mondays, Wholesale Hotline, Wednesdays, this show, Thursdays. Raph and I are cooking up something crazy.
Gonna be so
with a
good.
TV producer named Brad. We love you, Brad. And he's produced Emmy award-winning shows. We're going to put something cool on YouTube. Don't worry about it. Well, more of that later. Okay. The best answer to what you just asked is find an ugly house. Talk to the property owner. Do they want to sell that property? Great. Find somebody in the chat here. Find somebody in a Facebook group. Find somebody in a meetup.com, real estate investor meetup, a RIA meetup, Real Estate Investor Association. Anybody that's doing business in the area that you're doing business, Hood Poppy, find somebody that is already doing deals. Meet with them and say, I've got this ugly house. I've got this seller that wants to sell this house. Can we JV on this deal? You walk me through the deal to get it done, and we'll split this thing 50-50. Then you don't have to know anything. All you need to do is find somebody that wants to sell their house cash as is, and it needs significant renovations.
You know, it's surprising how many people shy away from that at the beginning.
Right.
I mean, it's a learn and earn, type of approach, right? I did that indirectly working with Sean.
Right.
But JVing and partnering up with people at the beginning, it seems like you're giving away half your profit. You're giving away, but you know what? You're getting to see how the deal works from somebody who's done deals in the past. Make sure that you document the process, because you don't want to do that forever, right?
Yeah.
But it's a really, really good way to tap into a cash buyer's database, right? And into the knowledge of somebody else in that particular market. Make sure that you pick the right partner to vet them and whatnot. But it's a great way of doing it.
Yep.
Like, don't feel like you're losing money, because you're really not. You're going to move faster. You're going to have funds to do the next deal, and keep moving forward on that.
Can you wholesale a quit claim deed? And if so, how would you do it? I mean, first of all, you need to make sure everything goes through title. Okay. Everything goes through title.
You're asking for trouble. Just
Quit claim deeds are usually used if you're, an owner and you want to put it into an LLC. If you're an owner, you want to put it into a trust. If you want to add or remove people from the ownership of a property. To just sell it, usually you want a warranty deed, okay? And that's usually what they give you. And that's usually what title likes. Title likes when there's a warranty deed on there, because it's easier to insure and there's less problems down the line. So can you wholesale? Can you assign a quitclaim deed? No. You would have to be on the quitclaim deed, and then, people could pay you to be, to have that deeded over to them. But totally different approach. A deed is actual ownership. The purchase agreement is the path to ownership. So two totally different situations there. Easy Rich. I was wondering where you were.
Damn.
Easy Rich. You've been quiet today, bro. Been super quiet. He's probably freaking rapping or singing or doing something. What do you think he is?
That's not a picture. It's a live video of him right now.
That's it. That's him. What do you think? Do you think he's a singer or a rapper?
I'd go for, I don't know, kind of like bluesy, jazzy, type of stuff.
Maybe he's a beatboxer. It's close to his mouth, right? Maybe he's a beatboxer. Anyway,
he gives me I'm drawing a blank on the name. I'll think of the name.
Like a rocker?
Yeah.
He's got bandana, mohawk.
No, not that. Anyways, I'll think of it. I'll come back to you, East Ridge.
If an agent refuses to present a low ball offer, would you skip trace the owner and send the offer anyways? No, I mean, not unless they're really just not communicating at all. But they hired the agent for a reason. If you feel like they're not answering the phone, if you feel like they're being lazy, maybe you approach the seller. I mean, if you don't have a real estate license, go bananas. If you have a real estate license, it's against the code of ethics, and you can't do it. They'll pull you up in front of the Department of Real Estate. But if you don't, and you just want to reach out to the property owner because they're not presenting the offer, go for it.
Also, it's not necessarily illegal on the listing agreement. There's a checkbox that asks you, the sellers, do you want to be presented with every single offer that comes through? So if they say no to that, the agent can screen those out and then just give them the good ones, right? So I mean, that's one thing. It depends on how they set up the listing agreement.
How do you deal with no wholesalers in the listing? Anywhere around that, I need the contract to be assignable. Well, then, it just depends on how long it's been on the market. If no other offers come in and you're the only offer and it's assignable, they're going to play ball with you.
Yeah, if it's
What else
120
are they
days
gonna
into
do?
it, they don't care.
Yeah. It could say all sorts of things. It's a negotiation tool. So unless they're going to put in language that makes it so that you can assign, I mean, here's a couple of things, Rich. If you get a smoking deal and they don't allow you to assign it, I wouldn't not do that deal. I would just close that deal. I would get transactional funding, and I would do either double close or if you can, a double escrow, which uses the funds from your cash buyer as your funds to close that deal, which is interesting. A lot of areas don't do it. A lot of title companies don't do it. It gets a little bit tricky. But yeah, if it says no wholesalers, I would have a conversation with that agent, and I would probably go, hey, listen, I'm a buyer. Let's put this thing together. I am a buyer. I'm going to flip this thing and I'm going to make a profit. But I'm a buyer. And the flip might happen the same day, but I'll double close, double escrow that. If they're like, the seller will not sign a purchase agreement with anybody that's going to assign. Okay. What's their plans with the property if they don't sell it? What's their plans? Are they going to just cancel the listing? Are they going to not sell the property? No, they're going to sell the property. Okay. So if I can make it happen, will you give me 72 hours to make it happen? If I sign it, great. If not, I'm not going to waste your time. And you guys are confident that it's going to move through. I'll even let you pre-qualify the end buyer that's going to come in and buy it. Make sure that they have their proof of funds. Make sure that they're legit. Make sure that they have experience. How about I be as transparent as possible that no other wholesaler is going to do so that you feel confident that this deal is going to be done? Can we do business then?
So many headaches are saved that way.
Yeah. Couple more questions. We've been going 2 hours.
We're bringing the fire today. I like it.
Matthew, any thoughts on mixed use estimator? I have a property with 6 units plus rent for business. Tricky deal because you have to find a very specific buyer. Matthew, you're now in commercial and you need to talk to your buyers specifically and say, hey, listen, what would you offer on this? I would have 2 or 3 buyers that buy these type of deals. I would ask them what price works for them, and that's what I would use. This is not a 3,200 square foot house built in the 50s, slam dunk, easy deal. This is a very specific small pool of buyers that are going to be looking for that. And you need to know their price first and then reverse wholesale it, which means I got his price. I'm going to go in and I'm going to build in my fee.
The use of the property is going to dictate a lot of it too.
Yeah.
So,
yep. And then at that point, you're kind of working as an agent. So I hope you have a license, especially if you're in an area that you need a license. So I don't know. I don't like mixed use. I don't like messing around. I like clean, easy, simple, done. Because now you got to look at what is the income of the business. What's the income of really not even, are you buying the business with it? Or are you just buying the commercial space that the business is in? There's a lot of questions there.
There is. John Troutman is really good at commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Here in town.
Yep.
One of the key things that he looks at, like he won't look at a deal that's over $100 a square foot. I mean, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. On commercial. Right. So sourcing that, I mean, that to me, just right out of the gate, I've been using that and I'll take a look at it. It's like this under 100 and then I'll spend the time with it, but it may be different in your market. So
this is a great question. Lamore, does the MAO calculations for the offer price work for off market and on market leads? Oh, I rap, sing, rock, all that easy, Rich. He does it all.
Bam.
What a guy. That is awesome. Send us, put a link in here. Send us your Instagram or something. We'll check you out. That'd be awesome.
Come on.
Maybe it's easy, Rich. Maybe I'm just being lazy. Throw it in there. But Lamore, this is a great question. Let me show you here.
Okay. This is how I do it. You could do it anyway. You could find people that do this more. This is not a main strategy that I use. Raf, I'd love to know how much you use it. If it is on MLS, okay, and it is less than 3 days on market, you got to call that agent and see if they have offers. If they've got multiple offers, they priced it right, don't mess with it. If they haven't, If they have no offers in 3 days, then I'd probably be about 20% off the list price. Okay. Now, if it has been more than 3 days, there's no offers, and it's just sitting on there. It's been on there a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, whatever. I'm going 30% off of their list price. And this still might not be enough. Okay. I'm going 30%. And this is only for properties that I would say that are more than $300,000. If they're under 300,000, you got to be way more off. This has to be 50 to 70% off of the list price. Off of list price. Why? They've already signaled to the world, I am selling this property. And they put out a price. And the whole world says, no.
They're stigmatized.
The whole world is saying, that is not a deal. That's that price, that condition, you need to be way lower. So if the whole world is saying that, if it goes on the market, it's going to get snatched up faster than anything if it's priced right. It'll get snatched up faster than anything. It'll be snatched up in 3 days. They'll have multiple offers in 3 days in any market. I don't care if it's priced right. But if it's not, you got to take significant discounts on, because your cash buyers are going to see that it's on the market. And they're going to see that you just got it on the market and you're just trying to give them an on-market deal, and it's at the price that they have it on the market for. But if you don't sell it, you're going to cancel. And if you cancel, they'll just go back on the market. I mean, they'll just buy it from the agent. They'll just put a backup offer with the agent. But if it's listed for 150 and you're putting it out there at 80,000, that might be a deal, right? You got to be real aggressive, real aggressive. Cool.
Yeah, I have the approach that we take. I mean, we won't. I look for days on market. If it's been on the market for more than 60 days, that we'll consider you making offers. Otherwise, we just stick to off-market deals. So that's one. And then I use the MLS price. Of course, I'll corroborate comps and everything. But even if it's priced under the comps, like the average comp, so if it's been on the market for 60 days, this one's priced at 450, and the comps are 470. I'll use the MLS price, the 450, right, and then do my math. I just work the math from there to a regular wholesale offer. So we end up going for the knees.
Look at this
on that kind of stuff.
Honestly, the music was a few years back. Focus on my wife, 8 kids, and juicy deals. Now you need some juicy deals.
He's a rock star. He had 8 kids.
Yeah, he's got. Oh my gosh, this guy. Joe Homebuyer Franchising here, guys. I own a Joe Homebuyer franchise. It's absolutely phenomenal. Owning a brand and building the brand and the brand building nationwide is an asset. I would go. I mean, if you're interested in Joe Homebuyer, I guess Joe Homebuyer franchising is right there. Let them know that I sent you. But it's been a game changer. It's been really, really great. Really great. Business in a box for sure. Joel, can you direct me to some videos on acquisitions from your team? Yeah, bro. I mean, we have unlimited amount of very specific things. So Joel, what I would do is I would just type in Brent Daniels and anything that you're dealing with, negotiating price, pre-qualifying, what to do on an offer presentation, all those things. You can pull it up. It's in YouTube. You'll find it and implement. Take action on it right away. And if you really want to go like top level, guys, we have mentorship at wholesalinginc.com, the Rhino Tribe. I think I'm only going to keep it up until I think I'm only going to bring in new people to the end of 2025.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I think so. We'll see, but I think I might sunset the one-on-one access to me doing all those things. We've got an incredible tribe in there right now. We've got an incredible group right now. There might be a transition where that's going to be done in the next 6 months or so. Yep. Let you know.
Jump on it while you can. Yours? Yeah. REIwholesaling.com.
REIwholesaling.com from Rafael Cortez.
I have a free step-by-step playbook on how to get your first deal on there.
Awesome. Check that out, guys. Also check out Rafael at what Instagram?
Rafael Cortez, CEO.
CEO, Chief
Bam.
Executive Officer.
Ossifer.
You're the man.
Yes.
Awesome show, guys. We spent over 2 hours with you guys today. Thank you for bringing in the questions. The people that lined up before the show to put the questions in got their questions answered first.
That's awesome.
If you're dealing with any of those things, jump in. We do it 10 o'clock on Wednesdays, most Wednesdays. I think I'm going to miss maybe 1 or 2 in July, but for the most part, we're rocking and rolling. And if you're interested in getting the hottest leads in the industry, Raf gets them. I get them. The top real estate, wholesaling, and flipping companies. What, you got another one?
Check that out.
You just got a lead right now. Indianapolis. Bam.
Boom.
Beautiful.
Lead.
Go to
Team's on it.
talktopeople.com. Check that out. Talktopeople.com for your PPC agency needs. We got you covered. Luke, come on in. Luke is the real hero of the day. Did anybody give you love, or were they just like crickets? Anybody give you love?
Nobody gave you love?
No, I got love.
You got love.
I got love.
You got love. Okay. Guys, Luke, Raphael, myself, we love you guys. Make sure to go out there and keep your house clean, protect your health, increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. We'll see you soon, guys. Love you.
Bam.